Hello everyone and welcome back to Riven. It is time to finish this. Now, we last left off right out here outside the machine where we need to power this link book in order to use it to link to age 233. Because again, if I open it now, it's a blank page. There's nothing there. I don't know if Gen built this when he built the age, but yeah, anyway, you can see all of these are lit up now. So we're ready to start this machine up. And the way we do that is by pressing this button. Now, booping this button. Before I do that, I do want to warn there's going to be a lot of doing this and opening the notebook as I go in to check all the colors and everything. So, just a little word of warning that I'm going to be opening the menu a lot. So anyway, let's boop this button and start the process. You see the device raises up from the center. And then these will come out from the sides and grip all of the little pipes here. Boom, 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 boom. All of the marbles drop, and we'll get them all out here. It's coming out in a different order than it did the last time. That's funny. Because I tried to record this multiple times, and each time I've done it, the order in which the marbles come out has been different. That's interesting. That even though it's been the same save, it's been different every time. Okay, so we've been brought up here, and we have to open the machine by flipping the switch, and the machine will open itself. She rises up, and then you'll see a grid that looks very similar to the one on Survey Island that we have to place the balls in. The balls. I said balls. I meant the marbles. The fire marbles here. Stop laughing. And you can come over here, you can walk through here. This bridge here is the one that used to raise up, and that's how you got up here originally to do this puzzle in the 1997 game, but not anymore. They've changed that significantly in this remake. You can also go over here, and you can see the other, well, where the other bridge used to be before we flipped the switch down there and destroyed it because we didn't know it was going to be destroyed. Anyway, back to the puzzle. We need to get on with it here. So we need to lay out the fire marbles in the exact same way they are in the screenshot from Survey Island, which is why I took this picture. Now I'm able to see this without from this screen. I'm able to kind of to see it. If your eyes aren't the best, you might want to try to zoom in if you can, but I'm going to be looking at it from this screen and only this screen. So we're going to start with Prison Island in the top right corner, and that is going to be this one with the halfway vertical open with the dot, and that is blue. So blue marble to the top right corner, and this is how you would do this if you were completing the game yourself. And mind you, the color placements, the colors themselves are exactly the same, but the placement of each marble is going to be different in each playthrough. I can't say the offsets will be different, but the placement of where the marbles, of the different colors, the exact spots are going to be the same, but which color goes into which spot is going to be different in every playthrough. That's the random factor they added to these remakes, which is one of the reasons I really hope they do the next game, Exile, because that's one of my favorite games, and there's a lot of puzzles in that game that could really be made more challenging with it being randomized every time, so people don't just look up the solutions. Anyway, let's continue. So next, we're going to look at, what's the next one there? Temple Island. That's Temple right next to it. It goes in the top row, spot 4. And that's the island we're currently on. And that is this one. Yes, that's correct. And that is green. And we just process of elimination whatever the last color we don't get. So the next one is, let's do the red. That is halfway open with the line. That one is going to be Jungle Island, which is second column, second one up from the bottom. The red goes there, and I got these two mixed up the last time. Notebook. Let's see. Top left corner is Boiler Island. That is, I think, the only one we're missing here, which I completely missed. So let's forgo that one. Let's do Survey Island, which is going to be this one. That's going to be the orange one, which goes here. And then the last one, process elimination, goes there. And that should be everything. Now we have to put in the offsets. So the offsets are up here. And the first two are plus 16. The first three are plus 16, plus 12, and plus 5. However, that's from a base of 9. Remember that. So if you go in here, there's a number line here. Now, these things, luckily, these little tabs cannot cross over each other. So that is something you should know. It makes your life a little bit easier, because you can just go by the numbers and not have to worry about the actual colors. So plus 16, starting from where the red one is, that's 0. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's your base value right there. So plus 16 is going to be 5, 10, 15, 16, all the way to the end. The next one is plus 12, so you go to 9. Or if this is plus 16, you can actually go backwards from there. So 15, 14, 13, 12. And then plus 5. So 12, 11, 6, 5. So 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep. So now the last two, I believe, are minus 3 and minus 7. Let me just double check that. This is what you'd be doing as you were playing this game to check the values for yourself. Yes, minus 3, minus 7. So that's going to be 6 and 2. So 5, 6, and 2. And that should be everything in order. So now what we do is we flip this switch down. The machine will close up. And luckily, if we've done this right, this white button in here should light up and we should be able to continue. I think I've got this correct. Let it do its thing. Nope, I do not have it correct. So I think the offsets are right. I think I've got marbles wrong. Let's... Because 9... 5, 10, 11, 12, 16, yep. Let me just double check. So I've screwed something up here. Let's see. Yeah, 16, 12, 5, minus 3, minus 7. So let me just double check this. So if this is 9, plus, that's plus 5, plus 10, plus 12, plus 16. Those are all correct. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, I was off. I was off by 1. I was on 1 and not 2. For some reason, I didn't think of this bar here being 0. That's my mistake. So that's probably where I'm wrong. Let's try it again. I was wrong with marble placement last time, but this time it was offset placement. Basic number line, and I screwed it up. All right. So now, there we go. So now we boop this button. And the lift will take us back down automatically on its own. And that should be it. The book is now powered. Now, we're going to be going into a rather long cutscene here. And I'm going to have to, again, when he starts talking to you, he walks around the room. So I'm going to be following him with the camera. So there's going to be a lot of camera movement because I want to keep him on screen. The other thing is when he gets to the end and he asks us to use the book first, it's going to... the point is I'm going to have to use the linking book to trick him into going into it. I have to do it quickly, so I'm not going to have time to bring the camera back up. So once the cutscene is over and Gen is captured, I'll come back up and we'll continue from there. So, we open the book. We'll see the link page now come up. And we are ready. So at this time, the camera is going to go down, and I will see you guys on the other side of this cutscene.
I apologize for the cage. I'm afraid this situation has often required of me a more primitive code of conduct than I might otherwise have chosen. I am Gen. I assume you've heard of me. Yes. Well, I suspect you have acquired some false information of who I am now. Not that my son would have lied to you about me. No, not Atris. It's just that, well, I'm sure he believes me to still be the depraved father I once was. Yes. I even tried to kill him once. God, if I had accomplished that, who knows what I would have become. A great father indeed, who tries to murder his own son. Thankfully, he trapped me on age 5, a prison of my own creation. No books, no precious inks, no ages to link to, nothing but my own foolish ambitions. That was 30 years ago. 30 years, 30 lifetimes, what does it matter? No sentence could be too harsh for the man I was. But I have changed. Be sure the deeds of my past can never be completely atoned for, but my mission was an honorable one. I'm sorry, this is all a bit awkward. It's been a long time since I've attempted to persuade anyone of my intentions. Most of the people here have already made their minds up about me one way or another. I myself do not trust the words of most men, so I don't expect you to believe me. In the end, though, you may discover that I do have more than mere words to offer. Atris's choice of punishment has been hard on the people of Riven. Many have suffered because of it. The island has been steadily decaying for years, but according to my most recent measurements, it appears that the 5th age has entered its final days. Unless the villagers can be relocated soon, the island will collapse entirely and everyone will perish. It has taken me a long time to do it, but it appears that finally I'll be able to make some substantial amends to my past transgressions, especially in... Well, I'm afraid I've had some trouble with Catherine and the moiety. In any society, there will always be a small percentage of the population with rebellious tendencies. Before Catherine appeared, the moiety, as they call themselves, had been relatively harmless. I mean, the natives here are a fairly violent people by nature, but I'd almost come to accept their presence. Upon Catherine's return, however, their violence intensified considerably. It seems she's become some sort of religious savior to them. As far as I can tell, she's come to believe this herself. So I've had no alternative. I had to separate her from her people. The actions of Catherine and the moiety have put my own life at risk on numerous occasions. Consequently, the lives of all the people here. Therefore, I must ask you to refrain from any attempt to free her. Although I'm sure Atris desires it. Indeed, he must desire it with all his heart. But he is completely unaware of her recent state. Which brings me to the point of all of this. The linking book you brought with you. You're very fortunate to have recovered it. If I may. Thank you. Perhaps it would be best if you went through first.
Okay, so we have officially captured Gen. He is trapped within the book. Now, there are multiple things I could have done there. I chose to acquiesce to his command immediately. I could have waited, and there's a separate achievement for that, which I already have. I could have waited, and he would have walked away and said, well, basically he didn't trust the book. He wants you to go through to kind of prove to him that it's real before he'll go in. Now, again, as he isn't as skillful in the art of age writing as Atris is, he was unable to pick up on the fact that it was a prison. Even though he didn't trust us, we were able to go through and sort of prove, quote unquote, that it was a prison, because if he uses it right after us, we're released and now he's trapped in here. So there's that. I could have also just used the book before even coming here, and that would have been a bad ending, which wouldn't have helped. If I use the book now, it's going to trap me in the book, and then Gan will realize what was going on. And he'll just throw it away and burn it. Another bad ending. Now I'm kind of curious. Technically, we have the combination for the fissure in Catherine's journal. We could technically open it without her being released. But I want you guys to see the true ending. If I feel like seeing if there's another ending related to that, I'll do it later. If you can see here, there's other ages he's been trying to... Well, this is another book that he kind of had started working on. We're going to go ahead and flip the switch on this machine to power the link book so we can get back. If we pull this lever, the cage will drop. So we can actually use the book. And there's a couple more things we got to do here. We'll go outside quickly. We'll just take a look around really quick just to see what's going on. Go this way. Nothing really over there. This is age 233. Judging by these rock formations, it may be that the water was once much higher, and that's where all that erosion came from. Anyway, if we come down here, you can see one of his failed attempts that he's thrown on the fire like before. Unfortunately, it's a destroyed book, so it would only be a partial link, and it wouldn't go through properly. Some totems and things like that. And then if we come up here, there's actually, in addition to his little cooking spit, there's also a picture of the totem on the wall, oddly enough. Probably Gen drew that. Anyway, we need to get back to Riven and rescue Catherine. But before we do, we have to get the combination to the tower that she's stuck in, the fortress. So if we climb down this ladder here, it's pretty much the only thing we can do down here. Here, you can see, if I was to click this and play it, it's a message from the scribe, which is how he knew that we were here, that we were on Riven, is because the scribe told him. I'm not going to do that. It's too long for me to do it now, but I've already got the achievement for playing it, so... yeah, his bed, his sleeping quarters. Over here we have his journal. We have some clothes in this drawer here if we open it. We have Gen's journal here, which has a few pages in it. Nothing we need to look at. And then this is what we're really here for. This will tell us the combination to Catherine's fortress. This little device. Ding, 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 tink. That's interesting that we got 4 of the same sound in a row on that roll. That is also randomized. That is very different from the last playthrough I did. So, Gonna head through this link book. I'll meet you back on Riven. I think it's gonna put us on Boiler Island, if I'm not mistaken, in his study, if I remember correctly. So here we go. Okay, so it did put us back in his study. That's interesting that that's where he set the link to. While we're here, I forgot to do something when I was getting the base value on the fire marble, and I forgot to click this lever and extinguish it, which resets the machine, and then you could try to do it again, but I completely forgot to do that. And the other thing I forgot to do while I was in here is the heat machine over here. If we come in here, we click on this, it turns on the heater, and it's supposed to show you how the heaters work to kind of push the water out of the way. So, forgot to do that the last time I was in here. Anyway, it is time to move on. So we're going to go out this door here. And we now need to go to the prison island and release Catherine. So I'm going to go through the Starry Expanse, and I will meet you on Prison Island. And here we are back on Prison Island. Now, you may have noticed that I am cutting out the transitions walking back and forth through the Starry Expanse as of later episodes. I showed the first couple early in the series, but then after like the second episode, I started cutting around them because it just takes a while to spin the platform around to find the correct spot. When you're trying to go to a particular one, you have to find the right one, and it's easier for me to just save time by cutting that out. So, if we come here, we have 3 different sounds here. So if I press each button, you have different things happen. If I press this, it kind of resets it. So you heard the tink here and the ding here. So I'm going to do ding, 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 and then tink. And then if we flip this lever, that's the correct combination. So the elevator is now active. And we can now hop in here and go save Catherine. Now there's going to be another cutscene up here with Catherine. I'm going to keep the camera up, but I'm just not going to talk. So, yeah, let's go.
To move quickly. Gen's people may already know what's happening. Once we're back with the moiety, we'll have time to regroup. Can I see the book? You did it. You captured Gen. We're all free. But there's still his followers. I'm not sure what they'll do once they realize he's gone. I have to get the villagers to safety as soon as possible. And you go back to where you first arrived and reopen the fissure. I know it's risky, but it's the only way to signal Atris. I'll try to make it back there as soon as possible, but don't wait for me. Oh, and don't forget the combination in my journal. You'll need it.
So Catherine is now released. I find it interesting, and she's going to go get the villagers to safety. I find it interesting that they have a combination machine up here. You know, this is supposed to be like a prison type of thing. Why would they do that? It just doesn't make sense. Okay, button lights up, so now we can press it and we can move on. At least she was being given food and stuff by the moiety. You know, via the ladders they set up over here. Who knows? It may have been the moiety who destroyed the tram platform down there so that the Rivenese couldn't get over here easily. Who knows? Find the door. All right, we're in the final final throes of the game now. So we take the elevator back down, and now we have to go. There's the number 5 again. We have to go back through the Starry Expanse to get back to the Temple Island. Speaking of the number 5, we're gonna finish this in 5 episodes, which was my goal all along, with the number 5 being so prevalent in this game, with it being the 5th age and all that. I figured if I could get it, that's why I've been recording a little longer with these, because I figured if I can get it done in 5 episodes, it would be pretty cool. Anyway, So we have to stop the dome, and I will go back through to Temple Island. I will meet you guys there. Okay, so we have returned to Temple Island for the last time. Goodbye, Fire Marble Dome. You will no longer be needed, as you will crumble into the sea shortly. Alright. So we're going to just press this button. We should only have to do it one time. I'm sorry, boop the button. Gotta remember to say boop the button. That is my phrase now for pressing buttons. I say boop the button. I gotta remember that when I do the other games in the series. Alright. And now we return to whence we came. All the way down here. I want to see where that... Oh, there you are. I was like, I want to see where that camera is that we were getting that angle from of the scribe doing his thing. And here I thought he was dragged over and thrown off the edge. Maybe he landed down there on that ridge and climbed back up. But, Anyway, we need to open the fissure. And to do that, we need a combination made up of Rivenese numbers. Now, I have the Rivenese numbers on my screen. At least I thought I did. I could be wrong. There we go. And now, if we bring up Catherine's journal right here, I'm gonna scroll through the pages until we find the series of Rivenese numbers. And yes, they are in Rivenese. Whoop, went right past it. There we go. So, let's do the first four numbers. There's 10 total. So let's do the first 5. So the first 5 numbers are 7, 5, 4, 1, 5. 7, 5, 4, 1, 5. 7, 5, 4, 1, 5. 7, 5, 4, 1, 5. So 1. This is the number 1, by the way. 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. 2, 3, 4, 5. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Back out. We'll get the last 5 numbers here. Is going to be 4, 3, 7, 7, 2. 4, 3, 7, 7, 2. So 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And these numbers will also be different on every playthrough. This is different from the last playthrough I had. And as soon as we click this to the number 2, the lever opens up, and now we can do what we were meant to do. So first we're going to lower this thing all the way down. I'm going to lower it down one more time. I think it needs to be that far down. And then we flip this, and then we start bringing it all the way over. And the final cutscene will be triggered as soon as I try to raise the machine up. Oh, no, we're too far down. Let's click it like that once so it goes up one time. Now we can move it into place. And as soon as we raise... Oh, what the heck? There we go. Now, as soon as we raise this for the final time, the final cutscene is going to trigger. So I'm going to put the camera down again. And I will see you at the end credits of the game.
There isn't much time. Where's Catherine? Where's the book? I don't understand.
Atris! The villagers are safely in the Rebel Age. I thank you.
As do I. You've accomplished more than I could have hoped for. You've given me back my life. The path home is now clear for all of us. This is where our paths must part. Perhaps we'll meet again someday. You know where to find me. Goodbye, my friend. Now I understand. Endings and beginnings are within the fissure. That riven cleft of stars that acts as both a wall and a bridge. And though I'm unable to understand how, the very flow of stars that brought my mist book into worthy hands, I am sure served as a safe passage home for my friend. The age of Riven has come to a close, but the people of Riven are free. And now I am at rest, understanding that in books and ages and life, the ending can never truly be written.
And that is it, the end credits of the game. I hope you guys have enjoyed this game as much as I have. It was a really good remake. I enjoyed. It was never my favorite game in this series. For me and my family, we've all kind of played it, but I think they did a really good job remaking it and adding those new puzzles and challenges to it. It was a really fun way of going about getting everything with using the transition through the starry expanse there, rather than what they originally had was they had a book that led to Gen's study on 233, and you would use the books to just link around until you had the book and you were able to capture him, because he knew you came with the book, but he wouldn't talk to you until you get. They changed that whole thing, and I really like how they did that. And yes, you do end the game by falling into the fissure, because the age is going to destroy itself anyway. So that's going to do it for this series. I hope you guys have enjoyed it as much as I have enjoyed making it. And yeah, remember to hit all those buttons down below, like, subscribe, leave some comments, let me know what you thought. And I look forward to playing the next game, Myst 3 Exile. Now, that isn't going to happen anytime soon. I'm going to take a little break. Not a 1.5 year long break, but I'm going to take a little break because there's a couple other projects I want to work on before we come back to this. But we will definitely do that. This is what I like to see, the original tributes to the 1997 team, which is pretty cool. I like that kind of they did that to all the old voice actors and everything, all the live action filming and all that. But yeah, that basically does it for this game. I hope they do I hope they do a similar remake to Exile, because they did really good on the first two games. If they keep going, they'll be able to do really, really well. They might not necessarily need to do it with the 5th game, because the 5th game, End of Ages, is recent enough that they might not have to, but we'll see where they go. So special thanks to all those good people for contributing and getting this game out there and play tested, and it's gone really well. So that's about all I have for now. So As we approach to the end, I shall end this off by quoting the words of our friend Atris. Goodbye, my friends.